Norway, 5 million people, one of the richest countries in the world. But what almost no one outside the intelligence community understands is that Norway isn't just a country, it is a strategic key, a silent guardian. The reason NATO still has eyes and ears in the high north. If Norway ever fell, or even just lost control of its northern territories, the entire balance of power in Europe and the Atlantic would shift overnight. And the Russians know this better than most Norwegians do. Let's go back to the Cold War for a second. While the world was watching the Berlin Wall and the Iron Curtain in Central Europe, something much more dangerous was happening up north. Norway shared a direct border with the Soviet Union, 196 kilometers of it. That made Norway one of the most important intelligence outposts on the entire planet. The Americans didn't just send diplomats, they sent engineers, money, and technology. They built secret radar stations, underground storage facilities, and detailed war plans that very few people have ever seen. All of it had one single purpose: to stop the Soviet Northern Fleet before it could break out into the Atlantic Ocean. Because if those subs got out, game over. This is where the GIUK gap comes in. Greenland, Iceland, United Kingdom. It's the narrow choke point that controls access to the entire Atlantic. And the northern entrance to that gap, controlled by Norway. Think about that for a second. A country with only 5 million people is literally the gatekeeper for the entire Western world's sea lanes. Today, in 2026, the situation is even more critical. Russian submarine activity in the Barents Sea has increased dramatically. New Yesen-class nuclear subs are patrolling closer to Norwegian waters than ever before. And Norway is still the first line. The United States, for all its power, is completely dependent on one thing: real-time intelligence. And a huge amount of that intelligence, especially on Russian submarines, missile tests, and Arctic movements, comes straight out of Norway. Places like Vardø. Most Norwegians have heard the name, but very few understand what actually happens there. The Globus 3 radar system, officially Norwegian, but built with heavy American funding, can track objects the size of a basketball at thousands of kilometers distance. It sees Russian missile launches, satellite movements, and submarine signatures in real time. Then there's the new Combined Air Operations Center in Bodø. This is not just another military base. This is the brain that coordinates air defense for the entire North Atlantic and the Barents Sea. F-35s taking off from there can be over the GIUK gap in minutes. Russia knows all of this. To them, Norway is not a peaceful neighbor with oil money and fjords. Norway is a high-value target, not necessarily to invade and occupy the whole country, that would be stupid, but to neutralize the bases, the radars, the airfields, and the ports that give NATO its advantage in the north. Modern war is no longer primarily about boots on the ground. It's about data, sensors, satellites, and who sees first. The side that has the best picture of the battlefield wins before the first shot is even fired. And right now, Norway provides some of the clearest pictures NATO has in the Arctic. So what happens if Norway loses control? If the radars go dark? If the airfields are compromised? If the ports fall under pressure? The north opens up. Russian submarines can slip into the Atlantic with far less risk. NATO's situational awareness collapses in the region. Supply lines to Europe become vulnerable. And suddenly, the war that everyone thought was far away is right on our doorstep. That's why this matters to every single person watching this video. Whether you're in Oslo, London, New York, or Sydney, next time someone tells you, Norway is just a small country in the north, remember this: small countries can decide the fate of superpowers. Norway isn't just participating in NATO. Norway is one of the hidden reasons NATO still works in 2026. The real question isn't whether we are important. The real question is, are we ready?